From half-naked banquets to thwarting plots against the throne, Catherine and her flying squadron knew how to use women's power in their favor. Catherine's de Medici squadron. Who were they? Remember, there are two sides to every story. It wasn't easy being a woman in power during the 16th century. I learned this at a very young age when I was brought over from my native Italy to marry the future King of France, Henry II. Disliked by the people as a suspicious foreigner and ignored by my husband in favor of his French mistress, I had to use any means available to me to preserve my power as queen. I was born an Italian commoner but became the queen consort of France's Henry II. I was a remarkable woman but vilified by many as Black Queen. I was queen mother of three kings, Francis II, Charles IX, and Henry III from 1559 to 1589. I married Henry II in 1533 at the age of 14. Diane de Poitiers was Henry II's mistress and his lifelong companion. King Henry II excluded me from participating in state affairs and instead showered favors on his chief mistress. Diane de Poitiers was first assigned by Henry's father, King Francis, to tame the 19-year-old. She did much more than that. She commanded all his love, shared his confidences, in short, became everything a wife should be for the rest of his life. Diane de Poitiers was nearly 20 years older than Henry, yet looked much younger. Some of her beauty secrets included plenty of cold water, no late nights, and lots of exercises. She was obsessed with the latter. I dismissed Diane from court when Henry, my husband, died. To spy on my husband and Diane, I simply drilled a hole above Diana's room to pick up a few tips on how to service my husband correctly. I even did not mind asking de Poitiers straight up to help me get pregnant. After observing the power his mistress wielded over my husband, I saw firsthand the potential of using the boudoir as a battleground, so I began to recruit a powerful squadron of my own. Can you blame me for that? The Escadron Volant, or flying squadron of beautiful women loyal to me, engaged in antics that would make Caligula blush, all with the aim of helping me retain power. I recruited a group of around 80 women who were handpicked for their charms and sexual prowess, whom I would deploy to the beds of various courtiers for sexual espionage and information networking. The name Flying Squadron has its roots in dance. When I introduced ballet to the French court and my own ladies gave the first performance and danced as though they were flying. The military connotations of the term squadron were particularly apt for my court as I employed my ladies as my own soldiers to fight my personal battles. Women during this period had to use the few means available to them to wield power, and the squadron found that many powerful men were defenseless against beautiful women. Perhaps the best known and most often retold story about the squadron is the 1577 banquet Catherine organized to celebrate one of her son's victories. The queen was known for her elaborate feasts, and during this particular one, her ladies served guests half-naked, although the original source for this saucy tale was not even present at the party described. Catherine now held an unprecedented position of power, which she reportedly gained by commanding one of her ladies, Louise de la Barradière, to seduce and manipulate Antoine into handing over the regency to Catherine. Since there was no protest from the rest of the government, it's possible this rumor was an attempt to discredit Catherine's rule, for if she had seized power through unjust and wily means, nothing else she did would be seen as legitimate. Another famous member of the squadron was Charlotte Desov, who helped eliminate another major threat to Catherine's power. When the Queen Regent got word of a plot to overthrow her between Henry of Navarre, who was married to Catherine's own daughter and would later become King Henri IV, and the Duke of Alençon, she sent in Madame Desov to seduce both men. Catherine's daughter bitterly recalled how well her mother's plan worked. Desov treated Navarre and Alençon in such a way that they became extremely jealous of each other, to such a point that they forgot their ambitions, their duties and their plans and thought of nothing but chasing after this woman. Thus the plot against the throne was foiled without a single drop of blood being shed, leading one satirist to exclaim, "Catherine, you are fortunate to have a stable of whores." since much of the propaganda was contemporary to Catherine's rule. As the centuries passed, the satire became passed down as reality, and the flying squadron was accepted as fact well into the 21st century.